About the schools that are represented in the final. We see some wrestlers from the quote-unquote superpowers, but it's more spread out this year.
Matt, there were 25 schools represented this morning. That's a tremendous amount to be represented in the morning round. No one had more than 4, or a few schools had 3. No one has dominated Region 3 this year.
The quarterfinals were held last evening, the semifinals this morning, so in less than 24 hours, these wrestlers have gone through an awful emotional experience, a physical challenge. What has to happen? What do they have to do to get through the next 6 minutes?
Now there's the mental preparation, not just the athletic ability that they obviously have to be at this point. It's being ready when they take the mat. It's breaking a sweat. It's having that perspiration kind of be felt throughout the body so that they don't make the mistake in the first 30 seconds when they hit their feet on the mat. That's going to be the key for our final.
All right, the wrestlers are being introduced to the crowd at hand here at Union High School. The Region 3 championships are just moments away. We're going to take a short break. We'll come back with the 103-pound bout right after this.
A lot to do with cardiovascular and the conditioning is you can't put a price on that when you come on the mat, I'll tell you that.
All right, what are you going to be doing over the next couple of days as you prepare for action on Wednesday?
I'm going to take tomorrow off probably, but a lot of drilling on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Even out of the practice room, I'll go down and work out somebody's basement or something at night. You know, just get a feel for the mat. A little more time on the mat, maybe 4 hours a day or so.
All right, congratulations on your win today. Good luck on
Thanks
Wednesday.
a lot. All right.
Shane Remolina, the winner at 145 pounds. The 171-pound bout transpiring on the mat. Bob Taylor of Brearley wrestling against Parsippany's Denis Biernat.
And it was Biernat that got the takedown. The tremendous hips of Taylor, and anybody that has watched Bob Taylor of Brearley wrestle knows that of anybody in this tournament, he probably has the best hip action of stepping over and using those legs. He gets out of some unusual positions with them. He scored his point with that. And we have a 2-1 score with about a minute gone. You haven't missed any of the action as we were talking to Shane Remolina. You've seen what's occurred on the mat. And again, it is Biernat that's moved in with a chance to make it 4-1 when he pops that head.
And he does lead 4-1 with 35 seconds left. You see the right shoulder of Bob Taylor's heavily bandaged. He injured that shoulder in the counties. In the semifinals, he beat Dave Patterson. I asked him following his semifinal win how the shoulder was feeling. He said, well, pretty good. But it is heavily bandaged. Didn't take him long to warm things up in the semis. He pinned his opponent in 55 seconds.
And anybody that was at the counties, as I was, to watch that match between Taylor and Patterson for one of the finest high school wrestling matches of the year in that particular bout. It went to overtime, and it was a victory for Taylor on a fine move by Patterson and a better counter by Taylor.
Bob's dad, Bob Taylor Sr., the football coach at Brearley, looking on. The gentleman with his back partially turned towards you, Ron Ferrara, the head coach of the Brearley Bears. John Liberato talking to Denis Biernat. John's team finished 13-2 this year. Biernat 48-15 in his career, 27-2 this year.
And that Dave Patterson that we talked about from Roselle Park did come back and take a third place, and he is still alive with a 13-7 victory over Pat Kalinda of Parsippany Hills.
Biernat and Taylor also played football in the fall. Taylor for the state champion Brearley Bears and North 2 Group 1. Biernat for Parsippany, where he was the captain. And the first period comes to an end. A 4-2 advantage for Biernat. Pair of seniors out on the mat. And two wrestlers who excel on the mat and in the classroom. Biernat named the Student of the Month at Parsippany in January, and Bob Taylor ranked in the top 5 at Brearley High School.
Taylor trying to use those legs by locking on Biernat's arm. Biernat coming out in front. Taylor with the power half in, trying to fight off the leg control by the Parsippany wrestler. And a reversal coming from the bottom to behind. Does not have to take his opponent to the mat. Gets 2 points on that particular move. 6-2.
Bob Taylor kind of looks toward the corner, a little surprised at that call. But it's a 6-2 advantage for Denis Biernat.
Caution Taylor. Started before that whistle blew.
Bob Taylor with a host of school records. Most career wins, most reversals, most near falls.
Taylor steps up, and someone in the crowd yells very loudly, "Watch the hips." He's well known for what he can do with them. A great deal of dance.
.106 to go in the second period. Len Rothbard will be joining us in just a few moments. The Johnson Regional champion at 152 pounds.
Biernat reaches up, looks at cradle. Taylor almost out. Taylor using those legs. Biernat fighting them off. Taylor with the good step across. The hips we talked about results in the reversal.
Narrows his deficit to 6-4, and now he gets a chance to work on top. Potentially dangerous called with 38 seconds to go.
Taylor with the rounded build. Still room for development there. Has yet to fully mature, Matt. I think you can see that. He's going to go with the optional start. Denis Biernat, greater development, but again, it's Taylor that almost catches that hook for back points. Only a 1 count. Biernat looks like it could point him in a direction, say go, attack, hurt, and he has that look. Stalling on top by him. Bottom man coming up, top man hooking. Mahoney Cole stalling. Coach Liberato not terribly happy in the corner, as you can see.
John Liberato, an intense young man.
He's going to be an intense old man if he lives long enough in this sport to get there, Matt. Taylor the leg in, working on that forearm.
Time running out here in the second period. Denis Biernat leading 6-4, and he'll take that 6-4 advantage with him into the third period.
Very even match, obviously, with the 6-4 score, and yet each wrestler with an opportunity of putting his opponent onto the back, as we've seen. That hip action again coming all the way over top. Biernat nicely hooks on leg, gets his opponent off and out of the circle.
Taylor showing no ill effects from that injured right shoulder. Biernat leading 6-4, 1:45 to go.
Taylor with a nice roll for the 2 to tie the score, and immediately into an armbar looking for the half. Biernat with the warning against him, must move on the bottom. Taylor will always work for the fall on the top.
And the whistle blows, potentially dangerous call. We've seen that called a couple of times in this bout. 1:25 to go. 6-all the score. Saw Taylor use the optional start earlier. This time went with the more conventional start from on top, and it's Biernat who's looking to free himself.
Biernat does just that, Matt, and takes the lead again.
8-6, Denis Biernat leads, 1:05 to go.
Biernat with the legs in. Has to again work for the fall on top. Has to try to get a half Nelson in. And we're going to see a fast call for stalemate or for stall. And if it is a stall, then it's going to be 1 point. Headgear down over Taylor's face. Taylor with those good hips would like to come back into his opponent and try and scissor the hips. Biernat does a nice job of coming back on top with 30 seconds to go.
8-6, Biernat leads.
He has a count of 1.
Not enough, however. No points will be awarded.
Losing the legs at this point a little. Trying to come up on top. Taylor in good shape. And he got it. Reversal.
7 seconds left. We're tied at 8-all. Will he get a count for back points? No, not enough. Not enough for back point. Parsippany wanted a reversal call.
What an exchange at the end, Matt.
And we'll go to overtime.
Taylor coming out. You can see Biernat becoming troubled by Taylor's position with about 10 seconds to go. Losing it here. Taylor coming behind, getting the 2. It looked like there was no way the Parsippany wrestler was going to be able to do anything with 4 or 5 seconds to go, but he was almost out.
Can't wrestle if you can't see, which is the situation that'll be addressed with Bobby Taylor. All right, we seem to have addressed the sight problem of Bobby Taylor, a little bit of a blood problem too.
Now we're back to more along the lines of what we're used to. They had almost a minute break there, and it wasn't immediate, and now we'll see if that minute rest has helped either of these wrestlers as far as the feet go.
Overtime, first wrestler to score wins. We had overtime back at 119 pounds. This is the second overtime in the Region 3 finals.
Biernat shoots for a second time. Question is, can Taylor's hips save him again? So far they have. It was Biernat in tight, and he comes up on top with the 2 with the legs. Again, the hips we talked about 15 minutes ago give him a championship.
A 10-8 victory in overtime for Bob Taylor. A result not met nicely, if you will, by Denis Biernat. But Bobby Taylor just smiles. His dad on the sideline smiles. Shoulder injury and all, Bobby Taylor comes away with the Region 3 crown after finishing 3rd last year at 160 pounds.
See the leg hook in. You see him bring him down to the mat. And there's his control. The leg is in. He's locked on top. That's the 2, and those knees came down. He made us look good by talking about those hips early on, and he won his championship with them.